iron sharpens iron, one man sharpens another.
This and
Iron sharpens iron. One man sharpens another. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Iron Sharp Men. This is episode 2. So we still in the early stages. We grinding behind the scenes, trying to make things happen as we build. I appreciate everybody who's already supporting us, who's tapping in to follow us on Instagram, Facebook. If you want to find us online, we haven't plugged in the real domain name yet to our website, but right now we're at ironsharpmen.godaddysites.com. On there, you can find out what we all about. And at the bottom of the page, you'll see our social media links. You can click on those and follow us on Facebook and Instagram and our YouTube channels on there too, which we're streaming live to at the moment. Before we start, I want to put a couple things out there for this week that we've been dealing with. Had a couple of brothers. Um, ISM is already starting to blossom. Um, it's snowballing. People are understanding what we're here for and why we're doing what we're doing. So we have been having some brothers to reach out this week that are going through some things. And that's what it's all about. All of us have probably had people in our family or in our circle that suffer with things like depression or even going so far as suicide. So we're trying to prevent those things and help men to be the best version of themselves, but also tackle the obstacles that we all deal with throughout life. And everybody's story is different, our circumstances are different. So we're trying to bring as many people to the table that have had different walks of life so that everybody can have somebody to connect with. Today I got my brother, aka the Apostle, here with me. He's gonna give us some interesting information. He doesn't know what it's gonna be yet, but I got a couple questions for him that I've been dying to ask, so I'm going to ask him of him today. He's got his talk show, the Let's Talk Sports podcast show. Let him see the logo on the shirt. He's representing his brand right there. He's talking basketball and boxing, um, football, and he's actually one of my best friends. But he's also one of the best boxing minds that I know, and I can say that I'm a boxing critic. I've been in there. He's been in there. We know what it feels like to get cracked in the jaw and to give it back. But he's also aficionado of the sport. He studies the sport, and he has some really good talks on his show with boxing, football, and basketball. So check his show out. Let's Talk Sports. Let's is with a Z, and sports is with a Z. He's on Instagram, Facebook. You on YouTube too?
Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, everything.
Everywhere. My man, that's how you do it. So I wanted to, before we dive in, there's a couple things that were brought up this week with some guys. Got a couple brothers that are going through separations, which is probably going to lead to divorce. It's not looking good for them reconciling with their spouses. So I want to give a shout out to them and put them in our prayers. Everybody who's watching or who will watch the video afterwards, please remember them. I'm not going to say their names, but we got some brothers dealing with separation that really wanted to work out. So, maybe you can. Things turn around sometimes. So we hoping the best for them, and they're on our prayer list. Got a couple brothers that are dealing with severe depression and being separated from their children. So we want to pray for those families to be healed. I mean, even if they can't, the mother and the father be together, that co-parenting thing is very important for the strength of their family and for the nurturing of a child. So we want to keep those people in our prayers and hope that, they can make the adjustments and the moves forward that they need to make for the strength of their family and supporting their children. All right. So without further ado, got my brother, aka the Apostle. He's a father, husband, talk show host, former boxer. He's a friend to many throughout the DMV. People seem to love him in DC. I can walk down the streets with him and not worry about what's going to happen. He got a good reputation out there. Um, so I wanted to, how you, first off, how you been? I haven't seen you in a while. What's going on with you? How's everything going?
Everything's good, man. Blessed. Wife is good, kids is good. Everything's good, man. Just taking everything one day at a time, one step at a time, man.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's an honor to be here, as always. It's an
yeah.
honor to be here and be with you, my brother.
And how many children you had now?
I got two
2 children.
children.
All right, so he can definitely speak to brothers who are dealing with parenting of young children, and you have both of them are girls.
Both of them girls,
Uh,
Maddie and Kalia.
Maddie and Kalia. Shout out to Maddie and Kalia. So he can definitely speak to brothers who are dealing with raising young children and definitely girls, and also dealing with marriage. He's a married man, and we having some difficulty over there. Oh, we good? Okay. All right. Okay, we good. Shout out to our producer, True. We at the end of the show, we're gonna tag her in the video archive so y'all can follow her too. She's doing a whole lot of stuff in the community and helping a lot of people out. So we want to give a shout out to her. But I wanted to, with all that's going on in the world and all that men are having to weigh on their shoulders, man. We did a song one time. So just to give y'all a little history, we were actually in a Christian rap group together called Change Men.
Right.
And with Change Men, there was, 5 of us?
Yes.
And then we had a bunch of supporters. We actually did a tour one time, and we were out in Arkansas and DC, Maryland, a bunch of different places. And we did this mixtape. And with that mixtape, I think we put some pretty powerful songs on that mixtape, and a lot of people gained a lot from them. So we were really proud of what we were doing. But we had this. You remember all that, right?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely, man. Who can forget it, man? I mean, man, that was a different time, a different space, man.
It
Change,
was.
man, the tour, Harambe down in Arkansas. I mean,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
beautiful. But I don't want to take you off your course because
No, you good, man. Down memory lane, and then everything back then. You're right. It was a different time. The world has changed tremendously since that time. I don't even know if something like that could be pulled off the same way nowadays. It's possible, but I'm not. I'm not sure.
especially in the Christian hip hop arena. I don't know. But I mean, that definitely was a different time, different space, and like I said, we was able to travel all over different venues.
Yeah.
And like I said, that Harambe that still stays with me to this day. Some of the conversations, and we still see some of these kids on Facebook as we watch them grow up.
Yeah.
Two young men and women that they got families and all that. So I mean, I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it's amazing, right?
Yeah.
I'm seeing some of these, like that. These guys have gotten married, have children, and these guys were in high school, middle school, some of them back when we did that.
13,
We really telling our age right now. But to have that impact is what we did it for.
Yes.
We did it, and a lot of times we talk about stuff like that. We're doing it for the kids and the children of the future and all those kind of things. And then it's a blessing to be able to live and actually see it come to fruition.
Yes.
And hear their memories from, how they met you and how you impacted them is pretty amazing. But we had a song on that mixtape called Emotions. And that was my favorite track on that mixtape. And I'll leave a link to how y'all can find this mixtape if you'd like to. But that song, to this day, you had a bar on that song that's one of my favorite bars of all time in all hip hop. And I never told you that. Sometimes as I go through obstacles in life and I hear other people's stories, I hear your voice in my head saying that line.
Wow.
That line was, I'll tell you one fact, you're not defined by what you go through, but how you react. Mm-hmm. You remember writing that?
Yes. Actually, I didn't write it, but I remember that line.
You didn't write it?
No, because see, like whenever I used to do songs, sometimes I write a line and sometimes I freestyle. And sometimes I may just freestyle the whole song and just add a line here and there just to complete it.
So that was freestyle?
That was on the top. That was just there.
Wow.
That was just there. That was something that was in my spirit at the time, so I just let it go. But basically what it is a lot of times we get faced with obstacles. Things will hit you. Because, I mean, if you live long enough, you will face some traumas, you will face some tragedies, you will face some setbacks. But it's not how you, it's not, you're not defined by what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
It's how you react to what you're going through. Because some people never came out of whatever they was going through, whatever the circumstance hit them, they let it swallow them whole. They wasn't able to find that light to get up out of it. So how you react, like, even in today's time, as we get older, like as I'm older now, I gotta, God has gave me a different type of patience. You know what I mean, for the environment and everything that's going on. So like even when things are hostile and somebody's coming at me crazy, I find a calmness because God has me at peace.
Mm-hmm.
So and no matter what's going on, you got to find your peace. Like I'm just to give an example. I remember one day I don't know what this lady was mad at. I was at Subway.
Yeah.
I was just going in there doing my normal, my normal lunch order, and she was bent out of shape, like, everybody, the process. You go up, you tell the people what you want, you wait for your sandwich.
Yeah.
But she, I guess me being right here in this line was a problem for her. She was going off and cursing and all that, and I just tuned her out. And I'm, you want to go, you want to go in front of me, you can.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was like, well, why you, why you ain't get all on them? I just came in for my sandwich and my cookies.
Yeah. So people were wondering why
I didn't react.
Why you?
But my mind is, I just came here for my sandwich and my cookies. I don't care what she talking about.
Did you get the sandwich and the cookies?
Did I? Yes, I got my.
So you got what you want.
I came there because, and then what I realized is another thing when how you react is you got to know when it's not worth it to be right.
Right.
Even though you right, I could have rightfully put her in her place.
Mm-hmm.
Like in some cases, when you're out in certain environments, you can rightfully, somebody's doing something wrong, but you cut you off on the road or something, you can rightfully react. Mm. But sometimes reacting could end up in a result you don't need. True, you know what I mean? It's a lot of people out here that end up getting themselves deadly harmed because you was right in the situation, but you reacted harshly and it ended up getting you in a situation. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to know when it's not worth it to be right. You know what I mean? So in all situations, find your peace. It's never as bad as it seems, even though it could be some things that may seem insurmountable. It's never as bad as it seems. So how you react is very important.
Most definitely. Definitely, man. I tell people like this, man, because I've been in trouble before. And I tell people like this. At the end of the day, I want to go home. I don't want to be interviewed, interrogated. I don't want to do paperwork. I don't want to be in handcuffs. I don't want to be bailing out. Sometimes people gonna put you in a position where you get punked. But is it worth, the repercussions of reacting? You can go home and be punked and be fine with that if you can push your ego down. And a lot of times that's what happens to us. The ego is high, so we feel like, no, I need to show this person what I'm made of or who I am and put them in their place.
Yeah,
and the ego will get you in. As a younger generation say, your ego drug you, and it can get you in bad situations. Yeah,
could get you deadly harm, seriously harm, can get you incarcerated, get you in all kind. And only thing, and most of the time, you wasn't even on that objective at the time. You was headed to do something else and just got completely sidetracked, and that reaction cost you. So that's the same thing. You got to know when it's not worth it. You always got to weigh, like, what is it that you're trying to do with this life? I know I can't accomplish what I need to accomplish in prison. I can't do nothing for my kids in prison. I can't do nothing for my kids in the grave. So I got to be, keep all that process. So yeah, I could have screamed on this lady, and next thing I know, she would have went outside. She could have had somebody in the car, and he done came in there. We done got a whole nother situation. And all I wanted was my sandwich and my cookies. I didn't want to beef. Yeah. I didn't want to argue with nobody. I didn't want to fight nobody. I didn't want to get locked up. I didn't want to get shot. I just want my sandwich and my cookies.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
My milk and cookies.
So what kind of sandwich did you get?
I got a chicken rotisserie sandwich.
Okay. What did she get? Did she get her
I have
food,
no idea. I
didn't.
completely.
Did she just come in there and act up and destroy her own day?
I don't know what was going on. And then one time, it was, because I live in the burbs, but I work in the hood.
Yeah.
So I encounter different people on. I live in the burbs. I work where it's nice. I live where it's nice and quiet, and you can sit out on your porch. But where I work at, you can get shot on your lunch break. But
Wow.
I seen a guy one day, man. He was, not to give me the screw face. No. And I'm like, what's wrong? Because I ain't said nothing to him, but then I said to him, man, sometimes when you mirror something off, you think I see you, and I don't. Whatever it is that you trying to stop everybody from seeing, whatever pain, whatever anger, whatever's got you all twisted, you think I see it, and I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not your enemy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You getting mad at something that could be a light to you. I'm not your enemy, bro. I don't see you. And that's what a lot of people want to mask their pain. So they latch out instead of letting somebody speak to it.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think? I mean, it could be a number of things, but when it's not, say, substance abuse or something like that causing this, the brother. Now, you just mentioned that two different environments you're in every day.
Right.
You're in the burbs, a little more relaxed, but then you're also in the hood,
Right.
which we both come from.
Right.
A lot of hostility happens. What do you think when it's not substance abuse or alcohol abuse, when it's emotional or whatever it is? What's when you get feedback from people? What do you see as the most common thing that people deal with that's causing a lot of this hostility?
A lot of times people never really dealt with a hurt that they had in their past. And sometimes it goes back as far as their childhood. People a lot of times had something happen to them, whether it's a broken heart or something that happened with the family, something happened with their mother, their father, and they never let it go. And they carry that thing around, and they carry that thing around, and then years later, you let that demon. It was a little acorn, and you let that demon grow into a full blown tree, and now you can't deal with it. That's where a lot of this. Listen, depression is a real thing. If you are not grounded and finding your peace, depression can sneak up on you. We all battle it.
Yeah.
Nobody's exempt, including me, including you. We all battle it. But you got to know your vices. You got to know your outlets. You know what I mean? So, and it's never a sign of weakness to ask another brother to say, hey, man, this thing getting the best of me. This thing getting the best of me.
Right.
Holler at me. I need to ride on your strength for a little while. That's not a sign of weakness. And a lot of men struggle with that.
They do.
They struggle with that. I got to keep that.
Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be tough. Yeah.
One thing I strive and I pray, thank God that I'm able to be and I'm able to do. I don't want to be that OG that's still doing the same thing.
Speaking on
that I was doing 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're supposed to be in a peace and a space, because if you who you say you are, you're supposed to be able to be in a place where I'm giving back to these youngsters.
Yeah.
I'm showing them that it's okay to be a man. It's okay to be a husband. It's okay to be a father. It's okay. It's okay to be a square.
It is.
You know what I mean? I mean, if you call that being a square, I don't call it. I call it being a man. But
you choose your lane and you stay in that. It's okay.
It's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with it.
You don't got to be the man. You don't got to be.
And I think that's one of the good things about society. A few years ago, people were saying society was getting soft. I was one of them as a football coach. I saw the culture shift where we having tryouts and you're not getting as many kids showing up.
Okay.
Then out of the ones you did get showing up, you had a much smaller pool of the ones that was actually competitive. You had some that the parents forced them out there because dad was old school. He was that OG. He was still trying to be hard. And he wanted his son to be the way that we were when we were growing up. But then you got the other ones that just wanted to be a part of something. They wanted to get a jersey or say, I'm on a football team. But even that, as the years went by, that number started getting smaller. And the same thing happened with the dads. Before, all the dads would fight, over trying to get a coaching job. Every dad wanted to coach. Then, a few years ago, you had the bad guys to hey, we need a couple more coaches. Anybody want to step up? Nobody want to step up. So I saw the culture shift where we start shying away from tough and hard stuff. But there is another side of that that's good. People are starting to get more in touch with who they actually are,
Right.
and dealing with how they actually feel. And I don't think any man should go around being, a crybaby or anything like that, or, you know, you understand what I'm saying? A man is supposed to be, pull your pants up, get some things done, be the first to stand up in the house, and handle business. But we are all emotional beings.
Right.
We're cut from God's image, and God was an emotional God and is. So it's nothing wrong with having emotions and showing them, but it has to be done in a way that's constructive and mature, depending on your age. You mentioned not being the OG doing the same thing you used to do, because we got to be role models and coaches and leaders to these children. Right. And you're right. And that's part of it. Showing them that it's okay to come to somebody and say, hey, I'm not feeling well today. Or I'm feeling like I want to lash out. And before in our time, you didn't tell anybody that. You just
did it.
You just went and punched somebody in the face.
You just did it.
And now you're in trouble. They called you bad when we were growing up. You remember that? Bad. You was bad. Now they have, okay, what's he dealing with? Let's find out. And I think that's great.
Right.
Yeah. We didn't get that growing up. And a lot of us, that's what it was. We were dealing with stuff inside that nobody understood, but we couldn't talk about it.
And these things we talk about, I don't want nobody to get it confused. This is not restricted to a particular environment. It's not restricted to a particular pay grade or class. It can catch you. Everybody has something. You know what I mean? It's a vice. Whether, just because you're not in this particular environment and this ain't your vice, but you're in this environment.
Yeah.
But you have a different vice. We all still dealing with stuff. You know what I mean? So don't think because, well, I don't live there, I don't have to deal with it. Yeah, you got a different, but you have a different circumstance you still got to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You would think those that supposed to be more well off are further ahead, but they're not. You're in the same boat.
Yeah.
So, you got to find your peace. You got to stay grounded. And, you got to be able to take everything one day at a time, one step at a time.
All right. On that note, finding your peace and staying grounded. And I want everybody to understand, we good on everything. None of us are experts on everything. We're not claiming we're counselors or mentors or doctors, any of that kind of stuff. We don't wear any titles. We're men that understand that men have obstacles, and we're just trying to provide a platform where men can come together and discuss our issues and get past them. I personally have had friends commit suicide, and I don't think I'll ever be past it. And the ones that have committed suicide, I knew they were going through something, and I was there for them. But I used to beat myself up about it. That did I do enough? If it still happened, but this is what we're trying to do: provide a resource for guys to discuss things, iron sharpening iron. And that comes from a biblical reference: as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. And that's what we're trying to do. With finding your peace, and once again, we're not experts, but maybe you had an answer for this or some answer. What would be your advice to a person that hasn't found that peace? What would be, some of the methods that you probably use to find yours?
I mean, honestly, sometimes it's as simple as like changing your habits, changing your day to day, like the things that make you happy, the things that make you laugh. If it's a TV show, if it's a book you read, if it's a song you hear, until you find something, until you're able to get yourself to the place. Like me, I can read the Bible, but everybody not at that point. So at that point, if you got a special song that makes you, that gives you your like this is, or a special scene you watching a movie that gives you that whatever it is, until you build. If I got to listen to this song every day, listen to the song every day. If you got to read that same scripture every day, read it every day.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that gets you going. Like if doing your show it makes you happy, do it. Do the things that keep you happy, and then you'll be, you'll start different habits, different things are coming. Then you'll start building up what you call your little piece by piece, and then you'll find your piece.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I'm in one of my things is making music.
Right.
I to this day, I think I'm one of the best beat producers that have ever touched the MPC.
Okay.
If you need beats, get at me. Go to kamizimusic.com and you can listen to some of the ones that I have up. I do not sell leases. I only do exclusives, so nobody will have your sound. But that's one of my places I retreat to. I go make music. Well, if somebody's buying beats or not, I just enjoy making music. And that's therapeutic for me. And I posted something on social media a few weeks ago that everybody has a talent. You just gotta find out what it is. And that alone is what holds people back sometimes from having peace. They don't have something to latch on to that's creative that they can do in those spaces where, feels like the world's caving in. A lot of people don't have a place to retreat to. That's a good point.
That's part of finding yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Through your passion, through your gift, through your purpose, and your talent.
Mm-hmm.
Through those. Now, if you don't know none of that, find one. Find one, and then go to number two, and then you can build from there. Once you start working on those things, you be so busy working on the things that's making you happy and giving you peace and joy, you ain't got time to think about nothing else. Does that mean that you're not gonna come across no struggles and dramas? Absolutely not. You're still gonna face it. But if you keep your mind focused on the things that keep you happy, this little drama, you'll be able to get through that. One of the things I constantly tell people is, and don't worry about what everybody else think. Not saying that you shouldn't care what people think, but you shouldn't care what every little person thinks. You don't, because especially when we start putting ourselves out there to the public, you're going to get negative comments. People going to hit your DMs. They're going to say all kinds of crazy stuff. You got to find a way to, you got to find a way to power through that. Because one thing I tell everybody, man, because we're especially on these social media sites, they be saying stuff. I say, listen, man, when I get home and I turn the key, get on the other side of the door, I don't see you. That's it. My first ministry is my home. You know what I mean? So, you can say what you want to say about me out here. Because like I said, when I turn that key and I click that door, I don't see you.
Good point. Brother, I appreciate you being here, man.
Appreciate you.
It's been amazing. And none of this is scripted, so I don't know what he's going to say when he comes or anyone else. We good on there? I appreciate my brother coming out, giving us some gems, as we call them.
Appreciate you.
And gems means, if you're not from the East Coast or you're not an old schooler like us, it means good pieces of information. A lot of people put steak in jewelry is of high value. So we call good pieces of knowledge, we call them gems. And this is what we're here for. Anyone that wants to reach out to him personally, our fellas, his phone number is, I ain't going to do that to him, but tell him one more time, social media handles.
You can hit me up on anything that say AKA the Apostle. That's Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, IG, and even on Clubhouse. All of those is AKA the Apostle, and or on Facebook I'm under my own name, Carlton E. Neal, or Let's Talk Sports, y'all. All those are active on any platform.
All right, cool. And True been moving around a lot back there. I'm guessing something going on funky with the cameras. If it is, I apologize, y'all. But hey, this is the beginning stages. We learning on the job. We all have full-time jobs plus a lot of stuff. Anybody who knows me knows my life is bananas. But we get to this place right here like on time to do this thing, and we're still learning on the job. So I appreciate y'all's support and being patient with us as we grow and learn. Um, you know, everything starts somewhere. But the main point is that we're doing something for a good reason, and everyone who takes a part in it, you're doing something for a good reason too. So we all appreciate you as you appreciate us, and let's keep letting iron sharpen iron. For all my fellas, stay sharp. God bless. Peace. Have a wonderful week. Iron sharpens iron. One man sharpens another. Amen.